Yo, what is going on, Government Crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's doing good as always. Thursday Night Football in the books. Giants upset the Eagles. What is going on in Philadelphia with these Eagles, man? They are not flying like they usually do. Big time surprise. What are we talking today? Boomer Bust week number 6. Who's going to boom, who's going to bust, and who can we trust this week? It is a big week for a lot of us because some of us on the bottom dwellers, we need to start getting those dubs. Others that are starting to take control of their league, a win this week will almost nearly snap your ticket to the playoffs in fantasy football. It is those situations. You got to love it. Last week's accuracy, once again, 50%. I just can't seem to get over this 50% since week 3. But this league has been crazy so far this season, man. A lot of upsets, a lot of injuries, a lot of, meek passing upside. So we'll try to get on the good docket this week. Let's shoot for a perfect boom rate this week. Running backs, let's kick this thing off, man. James Cook taking on the Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds. Buffalo Bills coming off a loss. They get to play the Falcons on Monday Night Football, baby. 80% boom rate for James Cook. And while this may not seem like a big contest for the Bills, it is a big contest, man. Coming off that poor showing, like I said, and them having the bye week coming up next week, they could overlook this contest as well. I really hope they do not. The Bills also, I was thinking about it. They got a little bit of that home complacency. This is only the second time in the first 6 weeks of the season that they've been on the road, and that first game was versus the Jets in Jersey, so it wasn't necessarily a long trek for them on the road either. So you got to believe they got a little home complacency. Getting on the road would be a good thing for this team. And they definitely need to go back to the ground and pound. Ride James Cook in bunches with volume coming off. His first bust game this season was not a great showing for Cook versus the Pats. He should get a big dose and get right in a big way. And same with this offense. They definitely need to get right in the biggest of ways. Going to be a challenge versus a Atlanta Falcons defense that does come after the passer. I'm still going boom in primetime for a James Cook. Next one we got is Rico Dotto taking on the Dallas Cowboys. 40% boom rate player at this point. And showing it to his former Cowboys this week, he showed last week, he still is a volume pig. He can handle a lot of volume. Those Panthers gave him everything he could handle last year, and there is plenty of juice on these tires for a Rico Dotto, no question, man. Taking on his former club this week, he already said last week in the presser, they better watch out because I'm coming. I fully don't expect another 200-plus yard showing. That would be absolutely crazy, but he will have a monster chip on his shoulder, something to prove this week that the Cowboys should have paid the man to stay in Dallas. And TD upside right now is paramount for this man in this week versus a defense that really can be got in so many different aspects. I'm calling a revenge boom with Chuba sitting once again this week. Rico Dotto, man, if you were like me 2 weeks ago, you picked him up off the waiver wire and played him the last week, and it paid off huge and handsomely for us. Isaiah Pacheco taking on the Detroit Lions. Sunday Night Football, 20% boom rate player right now. Not good season for an Isaiah Pacheco. And it was funny, early last week during that contest versus the Jags, everyone was anointing the Chiefs as back. Oh, they're back, and they ended up losing, man. They got assistance. You know what? I'm going to criticize the reffing at this point. They got some assistance on 2 of those touchdowns. 14 points came off really poor reffing, allowing things to come. But we got to play the game. Not going to blame everything on the refs. The run game overall in Kansas City still struggling immensely, and it is a big problem. They're going to have another tough task versus Hutch and company in Motown. Pacheco definitely looked better last week, though. You got to give him credit where it is due, but it shouldn't translate into better production in this one. Kansas City is legit in danger of falling again in this contest to these Detroit Lions, who will be coming after the former, Super Bowl champs from 2 years ago. And will they get back to the Super Bowl? They got to definitely upset these Lions this week, unless they get aid from the run game, which I don't necessarily see. Not going to happen. It is a bust for me once again this week for an Isaiah Pacheco. It's just been rough sledding for that run game in Kansas City. Ramondre Stevenson, Dre, 40% boom rate player taking on these New Orleans Saints. And while Dre is still one of my guys, always has been, loved him coming out of college. He's absolute stellar. It's so frustrating to watch Coach McDaniels feed this man off his many fumbles at the expense of hotshot rookie, who is my dude, Trevion Henderson. When you gonna open up, take off the training wheels and open up the game for Trey, man? Come on already, McDaniels. You're killing me. But I don't know when it's going to happen. In the meantime, even with the dropping, fumbling problem on the turf that Dre does possess, McDaniel still continues to feed the man. Heavily usaged in touches. TD upside is definitely up the wazoo here versus the Saints, who can be got also on the ground as well. Hopefully this will be a trade day as well. I don't know if it's coming. It's so difficult to predict with a Coach McDaniels, but I'm calling a TD floor boom for Ramondre Stevenson this week. It should be quite plentiful in yardage and points for this running back. Keenan Allen, wide receivers, taking on the Miami Dolphins, 60% boom rate player. Chargers, okay, they're in big trouble as well with all of these injuries. This offense, it was a well-oiled machine. One of the talks of the NFL, one of my bigger, promotions this offseason when it came to these Chargers. But right now, they're taking a big step back. All the offensive line issues. Hampton now going to injured reserve. Keenan coming off 2 bust games in a row. Definitely not good. And they're going to have to figure out their woes versus a Finns team that definitely can get in their own way. And they're not really great on the defensive side. They're not a sight to see either. QJ and Keenan, they've been the most reliable players so far this season in this offense. And now we get Haskins and Vidal. Can they carry the load, to assist Herbie in this pass game? We see Herbie under pressure a lot and a lot of duress without his offensive linemen. Recreating the run in terms of short pass to a Keenan Allen should be a massive benefit in this one. I'm calling back to boom after busting 2 weeks for this savvy veteran. Keenan Allen should have a very good day. Devontae Adams taking on the Baltimore Ravens, 80% boom rate for Devontae, one of my favorite picks from this past offseason, Devontae Adams with Matthew Stafford was an absolute no-brainer for me. While this addition definitely does help Puka a lot more than anybody else, Puka's killing it because of the coverage pulling from an Adams. Adams still continues to be super reliable, giving us a very safe floor every single week. Adams has boomed 4 out of the last 5 games. And that shouldn't stop versus a battered and bruised Ravens team that might already be packing it in for 2025 if they endure another loss this week as well. The Rams offense, so much fun to watch, no question. And even if Adams does act as that coverage puller for Puka, most of the time we do see it. Coach McVay still getting him involved at some point in the contest, giving us the, safe floor points that we require. I'm calling boom time for 5th time in 6 weeks for Devontae Adams. Absolutely love the play of Devontae every single week. Jerry Jeudy taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, 0%. Goose egg on the boom rate for a Jerry Jeudy. Okay, and rookie QBs, they got their ups and downs. We know that Dylan Gabriel is now the starting quarterback for these Brownies. They shipped out a Joe Flacco, but it's been a downer all season long for Jerry Jeudy and these Brownies because, recording 0 boom games, like I'm saying, his floor is even becoming a major issue for all of us that we can't even play him at this point. We know this rookie team, the Cleveland Browns are basically a rookie squad right now on offense, but they are progressing extremely well, man. Judkins running absolutely stellar. Gabriel looked good in his first start, and Fannon's Junior, he's making plays as well. Jerry Jeudy just doesn't get enough looks to be relevant at this point, and some believe Gabriel's going to be, able to feed a Jeudy in his second start. Pump the brakes just a little bit, pull it back. It's going to occur at some point. Finally, they're going to get, Jeudy involved more, and that should be to the benefit as long as Gabriel does continue to progress. But, they run the football very well, play good defense, and that's going to be the name of the game as well, finding tight ends as well because it is the safer play in check downs. It's going to be tough for Jerry Jeudy this week as well. Pitt's coming off a bye week, and they're going to have something to bring to this rookie quarterback. I'm calling a bust again for lack of targets for Jerry Jeudy. I do not like the play. Josh Downs taking on the Arizona Cardinals. He also is a 0% boomer. Big-time disappointment so far this season. But finally, we witnessed the Colts at least provide some targets to Josh Downs last week. And, we're always down for Downs, but this season it's been a struggle, like I'm saying. Basically, majority of the shares of volume is going to a Michael Pittman and a Jonathan Taylor. They are the cream so far that's rising to the top. But hopefully last week was something of a foreshadow for a Josh Downs. Get this speedy spark plug more involved in this offense would be absolutely beneficial for a lot of us. With A.D. Mitchell, he's basically relegated to the doghouse right now with his poor choices on the field and poor play. The Colts definitely need to continue this building process with Josh Downs and Danny Pennies. They got to get him more involved. I'm telling y'all, in this one, the slot could be open all day long versus the Arizona Cardinals. I do like the flex play of a Josh Downs. Hopefully it's going to turn into a boom for the first time this season for a Downs. Tight ends, Tucker Kraft taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, 75% boom rate tight end. And, part of the, big ups this season has been the evolution of a lot of tight ends, man, better than we've seen in many years. Packers definitely coming off the bye week this past week after tying the Cowboys 40-40 2 weeks prior. Green Bay is definitely a team that does utilize all their weapons with high levels of consistency, making them, another multi-dimensional club. Kraft is definitely a big part of this offense as well. One of the better young tight ends in this league, and coming off an extra week of rest to help his ailments and injuries. This is nice, man. We should see a lot of, force feeding to this man in week 6 with a very tasty matchup versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I got a deep feeling, man. Nothing, statistical saying it, but an end zone trip should be a formality for a Tucker Kraft. I'm calling off the bye week. Boom! For a touchdown at least for this man this week. Jake Tunja is taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 60% boom rate with George Kittle still on IR. And it's been good overall for a Tunjas in relief of this man. Brock Purdy still not feeling Purdy. And Jennings and Purcell definitely big question marks this week to suit up. Mac Money Jones and Jake Tunjas have been great so far for fantasy football, man. Racking up to the 9th ranked tight end to date at this point for Tunjas. Absolutely love it, man. The 49ers definitely got to keep their winning ways amidst all these injuries, and Tunjas gets more than enough volume to have that upside, even versus a Bucs team. The defense can be had, if a QB does, exploit them over the middle, giving up massive points to these Hawks tight ends. Last week, A.J. Barner was a revelation. I think Shanny's going to understand to try to exploit the same things that he saw last week with the holes over the middle. I'm calling another boom for a Jake Tunjas right before Kittle does return, which could be next week as well. So get all the points we can from Tunjas before he's relegated back to the bench. Mason Taylor taking on the Denver Broncos. 40% boom rate right now. Mason Taylor is my guy and definitely an up-and-comer in this league. However, facing the Broncos' stout defense, Justin Fields, he might be in tough to find his tight end on the regular in this contest. Taylor is definitely coming off 2 back-to-back boom games, even though a lot of garbage time productivity has been his best friend thus far to get those boom slots as well. He could save his day in this one as well with added, check downs, potential check down for a touchdown, but it is far too risky for me. The Broncos are going to be feeling themselves coming off that big victory versus the Eagles. I'm calling a bust for this rookie Dynamo in week 6. His time will come. He is very good, but I don't like it this week. Cade Otton taking on the San Francisco 49ers. 20% boom rate right now, and what did I say 2 weeks ago? I preached up the high praise of Otton to have more involvement, and he busted for me. In this offense right now, it didn't come to pass, but last week was a better showing for Otton as injuries continue to pile up. This week with Chris Godwin out due to his injury, Bucky Irving is still going to be missing in action in this contest, which means it's going to be, again, Rachaad White, Emeka Egbuka, and who is also my dude. Cade Otton, he should return to at least having a good target share in this contest as well with all these injuries. Could be a reach again, but I did like the point slots and the targets that we saw from Cade Otton last week. We got to ride with the hot hand here, so I'm calling a boom with no Godwin and no Bucky for a Cade Otton. I do like the play once again this week, but there you have it. That is Boomer Bust. Lineup advice definitely coming for you. I'm stumbling there on Saturday. Got you covered for that, so drop your start sit questions if you got them, or wait till Saturday. Got you covered. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.